Welcome back to another episode of Sports-Fixx. I'm your host, Carson Becker. We're back talking about another week of college football. It's Rivalry weekend, which makes it one of the best weekends in college football. We have some great games coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Some NFL tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So first, I would like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hope you all enjoy some good food with all your families and watch some great football. So I'll start off with the NFL Thanksgiving Day football games. You have the Packers playing the Lions starting at 1. Should be a good game. Division rival. Both teams sitting with good records. Packers sitting at 7-3-1. Lions sitting at 7-4. So a big game in that division there. Should be a great game there on Thanksgiving. After that, you got a game at 4:30. Chiefs versus the Cowboys sitting at 6-5. Cowboys sitting at 5-1. Should be another great game. America's team playing on Thanksgiving. Like always, they always play. I swear the Lions and the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving every year. So, two really good games there. You got a third game at night. Bengals versus the Ravens, another division game, another division rival game, I should say. All games here are division based, and so that should be another great game there as you eat Thanksgiving dinner, watch some great football, and should be a great day of football there on Thanksgiving. Then we move on to Friday where we have another NFL game. Bears take on the Eagles. Both teams sitting at 8-3, looking to be one of the best teams in the NFC there. So a lot of NFL football on Thursday, another game on Friday, but this is a college football show. And it's rivalry weekend. It's one of the best weekends of the college football season. So let's get straight into all those games. I have a ton of games that I'm going to bring up here on rivalry weekend. And pretty much all of them should be great games. A whole lot of football to watch this weekend. So get ready for that. On Friday, you have games starting at noon. They go all day, all night. Utah versus Kansas starting at noon on Friday. If you watched the last episode, I talked a lot about Utah, their potential to get into the playoffs with a win and some help with teams in front of them. Don't know if they can really get in, but they are sitting just out. So they have the potential. Then another game on Friday, you have the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Ole Miss will have to win this game on the road to close out their season, keep their playoff spot. They are sitting in a good playoff spot there. Mississippi State having one of their best seasons they've had in a long time. If you remember, go back to the first ever college football playoff ranking that ever came out, Mississippi State was in the top 4 in the playoffs at that point. So that's the last time I really remember them being pretty good. Not nearly that good this year, but they are playing pretty well. Ole Miss is a 7.5-point favorite in that one, so should be a great game there. The Egg Bowl, one of the great bowl games we watch every year. Then at 3:30, you have Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Should be a very good matchup. We all remember the multiple overtime game that happened last year with these two teams. Could be a little bit of the same this year. Both teams playing pretty well. I think if you asked me how this game was going to play out maybe 2 weeks ago, before this past weekend, before Georgia Tech played Pitt, I would have given Georgia Tech a pretty good chance to win the game. Maybe like a 50-50, 45-55 type chance of them to win this game. But after that game, they get embarrassed by Pitt. Georgia is a lot better than that Pitt team, I would have to say. No hate towards Pitt, but I think Georgia is just a better team, better offense, better defense. And Georgia has been playing at a very high level these last couple weeks. They're finally playing complete games at the right time. Going up against a very good Georgia Tech team, though. Don't put Georgia Tech down. They can still go and win this game. Should be a pretty good game. Georgia's favored by 13.5. That's a pretty big spread, but after how Georgia Tech played last week, I don't know. That seems like it could be around a 14-point game. So I think Georgia is probably going to win that game. So I would take them outright. But I mean, still, it's rivalry weekend. Anything can happen. So don't take Georgia Tech out of it completely. But I do think Georgia is going to win that one. Then at 7:30, we have Texas A&M versus Texas. A highly anticipated game. Texas A&M looking to keep their undefeated season alive, going up against a red-hot Texas team. Arch Manning, that offense, looking really good. Probably about what we thought Texas was going to be this year with how they're playing right now. And They've really turned it on at the right time. Should be a great game. I think Texas A&M, I've been saying it for weeks that I picked them to go undefeated if they get past those couple games. I agree with that. Still, I still think they beat this Texas team. They did have the little hiccup against South Carolina where they had to come back from a whole lot of points, down 30-3 at halftime, but they end up winning. And I think with that, they're just a better offense. I think their defense is still very good. Texas playing at a very high level, but I think I would take Texas A&M in that one. They are favored by 2.5 in that one on the road too, so a very tough environment to go into and play in Texas for the last game of the season, keep their undefeated season alive. I think they do it. So then so many games to talk about this weekend as we now move on to Saturday, where we start off with Miami versus Pitt. A lot of ACC implications in this one. Pitt wins. They go on to play for the ACC championship for the first time since Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves, and should be a great game. Miami favored by 6.5. I'm taking Pitt because I want to see Pitt in that ACC championship. I like Pitt. They really took it to Georgia Tech in the last game. Miami has been struggling a little bit. Carson Beck's thrown some picks, some turnovers. Pitt, very good defense, caused some turnovers last week. I like to see them do that again. And I like to take Pitt, stuns Miami at home. Give me a little bit of mischief going here in rivalry weekend. I like to see Pitt take that one. Then you got the game, Ohio State versus that team up north. Certain letter not to be said for Ohio State fans this week. Taping off all those letters all over their campus. This game is in Ann Arbor, will be a tough one in the big house. Always a great game when these two teams meet, no matter what their record is. Like some of these other games, it's rivalry weekend. Anything can happen. We've seen Michigan beat Ohio State 4 years in a row at this point. So anything could happen. Ohio State was a big favorite in the last game, and Michigan still went on to win. So we'll see what happens. Weather forecast showing that it's going to be cold. Could see some snow. And it looks like it's going to be teams relying on that run game, which would definitely give the team up north the advantage. Also, Ohio State, Carnell Tate, still questionable for this game. Not sure if he's going to play yet. Ryan Day's really been quiet about it. Jeremiah Smith does look like he's going to play, though, so that would be a big help for Ohio State's offense. As we saw in the last game, that their offense was very not the same against that Rutgers team, and their run game is definitely going to have to be a lot better in this game. Should be a classic one here. Who wins? I don't know. I'll let the game decide that one. LSU versus Oklahoma could be another good game. Oklahoma favored by 10.5 in that one. Big favorite. I was going to say take the under because both of these offenses are bad. I guess you'd say pretty bad. But the over-under is 36.5, so it's a very low over-under. I still like Oklahoma to win. I like Oklahoma to put up like 20-something points. LSU maybe 10. Maybe they squeak into the teens. So you're getting close to that over-under. If you like it, I would take it. But very low over-under. Maybe a little too low for my liking. But you could still see it go over. You could still see it go under. I think that's a very good line. I think about Oklahoma's in about the 20s. LSU's in about maybe the teens. Maybe not even to the 10. So should be a very good game there. Whole lot of defense, kind of a tough defensive battle. Whose defense is gonna look better in that one? So watch out for that one. You got Oregon versus Washington, another game that could be good. I do see Oregon winning this one pretty handily. I don't think Washington can keep up with this Oregon team. Oregon favored by 6.5. Dante Moore and that offense finally looked good to me. I think they finally played a pretty complete game. Their offense looked really good. They ran the ball well against USC. They passed the ball really well against USC. So I do see Oregon winning that game pretty handily, but it is in Washington. Washington did have one of the longest home winning streaks before this season, before they played that Ohio State team earlier in the year. So watch out for that game. It could get a little more interesting than you think. Then you have Vandy versus Tennessee. This could have some playoff implications here. Vandy, if Vandy wins, do they make an argument to get into the playoff? Sitting at 14th in the country, they beat another ranked team at Tennessee, rivalry weekend, end of the year. Does that give the committee a little bit of a headache when deciding the final 12 teams? Does Vandy sneak in? Probably not, I would say at this point, unless a lot changes in the playoff. But you could see a Vandy team make a case for getting into the playoffs and giving the committee maybe a little bit of a headache there if they play really well and they maybe they blow out Tennessee and they make a case to get in. So who knows with that? We do see like an ACC champion still getting in. Miami's going to drop out but get replaced with the ACC champion. So potentially could see Vandy get there. Then there are two more night games that have playoff implications. Virginia Tech versus UVA, always a good game when these teams come up as well. Rivalry weekend, you know it's going to be a great weekend. UVA looking to get to the ACC championship, win their way into the playoffs as the ACC champion. UVA favored by 8.5, but will Virginia Tech make it a game? They haven't had the best season. They do have a new coach, but he's not technically coaching yet, so not really going to see much change from Virginia Tech, but it's always a good game. Could be a good game here. Maybe Virginia Tech makes it interesting. I do think UVA makes it to the ACC championship, which means they'd probably have to win this game, I believe, but we'll see what happens there. Finally, the last game I'll talk about, the Iron Bowl, Alabama versus Auburn. Alabama needs to win to get into the SEC championship game, keep their playoff hopes alive. First night Iron Bowl game since 2014. Always a good game when these teams meet. Like I said, rivalry weekend, anything can happen. Auburn has not had a great season. Alabama had a pretty good season until their kind of hiccup with Oklahoma there. Still lost to a very good Oklahoma team. DeBoer, first time going into Jordan Hare. It's tough. A lot of people say that stadium is cursed. It's a hard stadium to play in. Auburn, really nothing to lose. I think maybe they get bowl eligible if they win. So other than that, they really have not much to lose here. Not a lot on the line with Alabama having their whole season on the line if they want to be a playoff team and compete for a national championship. So a huge game there in Auburn. Should be a great one. Alabama favored by 6.5 points in this one. Should be a great game and a great weekend of football with NFL and college football both combining to make great games all weekend. I can't wait for this weekend. It's one of the best weekends in college football, and I'm sure this year won't disappoint either. I know I talked about a lot of games, but there were just so many, I had to mention them all. Thank you for watching another episode of Sports-Fixx, and once again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy all that food and all the football this weekend. I know I will. I am Carson Becker, and I will see you next time.